Getting a good bite to eat just seems to be getting more and more expensive. But if I just had $1, what could I get? In Japan, in Malaysia, in Korea, Vietnam, China, Thailand, Mexico, India.
So we're taking to the streets with our $1 in hand, scouring the world to find any bite to eat. Will we find massive culinary deals, or will we starve ourselves trying? Our journey begins in Mumbai, India. And our first stop is not only under $1, but also an extremely unique eating experience. It's
Fire pan. Which is not like a classical pan, but it's a pan that everybody wants to try. It's going to light your mouth on fire, but then the pan, the coldness of it is going to help you digest everything.
showing me around Mumbai's best $1 street food spots is my good friend, Chef Saransh. I can't even begin to explain how many ingredients were put into this, but I'll try. First, on a fresh betel leaf. The vendor adds a nut paste like sesame paste, pan masala, rose jam, which he rubs all up in there. That's more finger action than I think I've ever seen in my whole life. Shaved coconut, sweet masala, shaved nut, another sort of shaved nut, rose petal paste, and tutti frutti. He then folds it up, adds more shaved coconut.
Oh, come on. How many things are we gonna add to this? Did you just put curing salt on that? What is that?
Turns out it was more rose. Anyway, he gave it a light, which is likely edible camphor, and I opened wide.
All right. That's something. Most people who were to see this online, they're like, oh, it's gonna burn your mouth. It immediately extinguishes when it goes in your mouth. So there's no like heat that you really sense at all. And it's just super astringent, like an unripe persimmon or grape skins. It kind of like sucks all the moisture out of your mouth and like cleanses your mouth. It's very almost minty, like a fresh peppermint. And then you have all this sweetness from the rose, the crunchiness from the coconut. It does kind of blow your palate out, but not in like a bad way, sort of like a cleansing way.
It's like a mouth freshener.
I was scared, but you know, sometimes there's good things on the other side of fear, and I'm glad I crossed the border of fear. I feel good, I'm ready to go on to the next.
On the way to our next stop, we went down to the beach to cool off with a sweet treat, a black plum flavored popsicle. This was made fresh in front of my eyes, it was delicious, and it clocked in at a solid 70 cents. Now, when you think of a breakfast plate in America, you're probably thinking upwards of $10, maybe even more. What if I told you you could get all of this for 70 cents? We have
Jalebi, fafda, sambaro, green chilies. This is what makes the Gujarati community very proud. We have this very, very soft fafra at the bottom, which is basically made with chickpea. They sort of hand push it down to make these long cigars. You crack it. It has a bit of asafoetida, which is like the Indian Ajinomoto.
A little bit of boom.
You have jalebi. It's sweet, it's fermented, it's chewy. We've got this papaya pickle and fried chilies. Cheers.
In restaurants, this is what we call a perfect bite because it has multiple layers. The crunch, the chewiness, the little crack from the seeds, the burst of sugar, and then of course all the layering of flavors. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's a little salty, a little buttery. This is incredible. Like I get the hype. When I go to new places, there are certain things that like a group of people will hype up. You know, like, oh, this is like the best, and it never lives up to the hype. This lives up to the hype. You have to try this.
All the Gujaratis on Joshua's channel, raise your hands up, subscribe button right there.
Yeah, woo! Phenomenal. Onward.
On to our next item in India, arguably one of the most popular street snacks in the country, vada pav.
You cannot come to Mumbai and not try vada pav. Mumbai is vada pav is Mumbai, and it's vada wow, is what I like to call it. You can have 3 of these babies in $1.
Wow. The guy who was assembling it was moving at lightning pace, grabbing the bread, slicing it up, spreading the spreads on there, boom, 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 adding the fried potato, and just hammering them out all day. Cheers.
I have no idea how does McDonald's work in the city. You have this right here on the street.
The first thing I notice is just the texture. The bread is so soft, so fluffy. It releases the air like the finest Tempur-Pedic pillow as you bite down into it, and then it just melts as you chew. The potato's soft, seasoned beautifully. Even just one of these is so filling. Unbelievable value. I would pay $1. I'd pay $5. I'd pay $10. For $1, you get something that isn't just good, it's craveable. I'm gonna be thinking about this when I go back home. We are moving on.
That is a wrap on India. I gotta say, I had an unbelievable time here. I absolutely need to come back. I was only there for a very short period of time. We hit so many other great places, like incredible street side pani puri, Bombay sandwiches, and I had the greatest dosa I've ever eaten in my entire life at Bene. They were homies, they watched the channel, they let me get back in the kitchen to cook with them. India blew my mind. I'll be back. Now, although we have a lot of countries coming, we're headed back to our home country, the USA, to see if we can find anything for $1. And after many hours of research in New York, arguably one of the most prolific food cities in our country, we were shocked to find out that we could not find any American foods for $1 or less. But what about the classic $1 New York slice? Yeah, that is no longer $1. Although we did find a samosa for $1, but that's not really American food. It was okay.
That's why they're $1.
And there were other things that we found that were pretty good, but they were all over $1. So we leave New York for Bangkok, Thailand. Finally, this is my first time here and it's considered one of the greatest street food cities in the world. So not only are my expectations high, but what can we even find for $1?
We're here with my man, Mark Wiens. Tell us a little bit about this market.
Well, this is a local morning market. It's called Tok Mo Market. People come here to buy basically all the ingredients you could possibly need to cook any Thai dish. And there's a lot ready to eat as well.
Let's begin.
We didn't even enter the market and our first item caught our eye, an entire gigantic coconut for exactly $1.
Classic, fresh coconut. It's like pregnant with water. I'm like blown away with how much there is.
Bursts.
In it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Back home, I'm gonna go spend like $40 on some like rehydration beverage. This is $1, and this is literally the most hydrating thing I've ever drank in my life.
Yeah, Thai coconuts are some of the best.
And it's so sweet, so refreshing.
And the other thing I like is that it's completely full of water. When he pops it open, it actually bursts because of that pressure.
Oftentimes when you open up a coconut, at least in the US, you've got like a half full coconut.
Yeah.
The second you put the straw in, the first sip is the sort of like slurping sound because there's nothing in there. I have a lot to enjoy here. This is phenomenal.
As we were leaving for our next spot, I also found out the vendor will take your coconut back, shave the meat out, and then give it back to you. An even more insane steal. Now imagine this, you're walking down the streets and the amazing smell of pork frying on the side of the street catches your nose. Yeah, I'm going there. Mark recommended we just get $1 worth of the pork, and he got some sticky rice for $1 as well.
If you added vegetables to this would be probably $15 in the US. And everyone would be like, that's a good deal. So that's crazy. Here, you take a piece.
Thank you. And I will eat that together with sticky rice because the combination is perfect.
So good. It's fatty, it's rich. Salt level's perfect, but the seasoning on it is like unbelievable. But it's also like very unadulterated pork flavor. I feel like a lot of the time with pork, you can easily mask the flavor. Whatever they're spicing this with, they're marinating it with, is really highlighting the flavor of the pork. So it's porky, it's rich, it's meaty, but it just has like this intense like savory garlickiness that just like makes you want to eat and eat and eat.
It's addictive.
I got nothing else to say. I love it.
Our next up, I'll be honest, I was hesitant. Dozens of tiny baby shrimp laid frozen in time in a crispy disc, but Mark urged me to try it. And listen, I've always said, can't knock it till you try it.
Oh my God. This is way better than I thought it was gonna be.
It has this condensed shrimp flavor because all the shells and the heads are still on.
But also at the same time, it's also quite mellow. Anyone who's had like a strong fermented shrimp dish, it's not like that at all. It's a very sweet, light, fresh shrimp taste. I really love that vinegariness from our sweet chili sauce.
They call it nam chim kai. It's actually like the classic chicken dipping sauce. It's sweet, it's a little bit sour, not really spicy, but there is some chili in it.
This is honestly one of the best crispy little bites I've ever had. I could eat 100 of these. I probably wouldn't feel good after maybe 100, but really, really, really incredible. Out of all the things we've had so far, I would come to Thailand just to seek this out. Moving on. I just spotted this while we were walking and it just looks so good. Chive rice cake. Oh,
You can smell the chives down the alley.
cheers. Whoa, I love Thailand. I love you.
You can say aroy.
Arroy?
Delicious.
Delicious. Arroy. The outside is so unbelievably crispy on the exterior, but the inside is like a rice custard, and you got little bites of the chive, which honestly isn't very strong. It's actually very light. Phenomenal. Moving on.
So at this point, we're pretty happy with what we've gotten, but it got even crazier as we got deeper into the market. We got fried chicken with a sweet and spicy sauce, a crunchy, fragrant, balanced salad of pigskin noodles, Thai crispy pancakes, one with egg yolk and one with river prawn. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty shocked realizing how much you can get for literally $1 in this city. My mind felt more deep fried than those crispy shrimp fritter, but now it's time for what I'd consider a legendary dessert.
We have coconut griddle cakes.
Yeah, so he pours in rice batter first, waits till that crispifies, and then he adds on thick coconut cream on the top, and then the toppings. The whole plate is $1.
Going down the hatch. Oh my God, what? This is ruining me. This is so good.
This is one of my favorite Thai sweet snacks, actually. And I love how it's crispy and custardy at the same time. Plus that blast of coconut.
I don't know what to compare this to because it's so unique. There's not really much like this. The outside shell is so wispy, crispy, thin, crunchy, while the inside, like you said, has that rich, creamy coconut custard. The sweetness, it's not really coming from sugar, it's just coming from that natural, fragrant coconut. Even if you don't like coconut, you're probably gonna like this. I wish I had this near me. I'm so pissed that I don't. Phenomenal. Moving on.
We've been blown away and we've only gone to India and Thailand, but there's even crazier to come with many more countries, plus one country I'm extremely excited to return to. The adventure has just begun. Next up, Japan. Tokyo and Osaka are not cheap cities, so this was hard. But fortunately, we had a secret weapon. Our friend Eyal, founder of Unnamed Traveler. He led our world's best noodles video, and like he does for a living, he found some hidden gems that saved our Japan trip, starting in Osaka.
This is kushikatsu. This is the beef one. It's the OG. When you eat it inside, there's like a pot of sauce that you share. We're just gonna pour the sauce over the skewer.
Fried beef skewer, $1. Cheers. I like the addition of the sauce. I think without the sauce, it's really like kind of plain, but the crispiness, the breading, so nice. Texturally crispy, it melts in your mouth. It's not overly breaded. The beef is very apparent. It's got a good chew to it. There's a lot of textural involvement here. It's beefy in flavor, but all the seasoning comes from the sauce. The sweetness, that Worcestershire flavor. It's nice. I like this.
This is like classic bar food, and because they're smaller here, so people just order so many of them, and you share them with friends.
I agree. This is the type of thing where I would want to sit at a table with like 500 skewers and just hammer them one after another. Moving on.
Next day, all found us Wagyu katsu for exactly $1. This price is unheard of in America, especially when you see the word Wagyu, but could this be the one that's too good to be true?
We have menchi katsu. This is sizable. This is the size of my hand. I have big hands, I'll let you know that.
I did not need this information.
You can see they're big.
Yeah, fine, yeah, great.
I should also mention that this is a Wagyu. This might be the one and only Wagyu for $1 that we're gonna have. Let's go in, cheers. Oh, it's like sweet. That was unexpected.
It's like an aftertaste of sweetness.
The crispiness is excellent. Inside is like fatty, it's rich, it melts in your mouth. It's basically like mashed up Wagyu beef. My guess is they're taking trimmings of the fat and loose ends of meat after they cut it up, and they're putting it in this. So they're making margin, but they're also charging less for it. So you're kind of getting really good value here. I do wish there was like a bit more seasoning going on with it. It's so oily.
Yeah.
There's literally oil dripping down my finger. Is this the best katsu you're gonna get? No, this is probably very far from that. For $1 though, pretty dang good, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it.
Okay, 2 spots for Osaka. We'll count that as a win. But after roaming for many more hours, it turns out we were starting to get priced above $2, and thus we move on to Tokyo. We did find some steals in Tokyo, like dango, rice crackers, these cream-filled bears. Pause. But if I'm being honest, there weren't very many standouts at that price point. And we were running out of time here because we had to make our flight to Seoul, South Korea. Here I'm joined by my friend Kim for an insider tour of a market that's mostly for locals.
Kim, can you tell us a little bit about this market in this neighborhood?
This market is Mango Market. They're a really famous market in Seoul. It's really authentic.
That was good. He said his English is bad. Your English is very good. My Korean is non-existent.
Immediately, and when I say immediately, like literally at the front entrance, we found an absurd deal. These huge twisted donuts where we had 2 different kinds, an old-fashioned one and a glutinous rice one.
It's got a stretch to it. Let's dig in. This is the plain, it's a wheat dough. Cheers. Very nice. I like the sugar and crisp on the outside too. You're right, it's very much like a traditional donut. Maybe even a little chewier, and by that, I mean better. Now we have the glutinous rice twist. Whoa, almost like a fried chicken crunch on the outside. There's like these little knots and nodules of like crispy rice flour, and then the inside so soft, so fluffy, but also has a chew, almost like if you were to take a donut and mochi and they had a baby. It's like a similar kind of comparison, you know? They made love and they had a baby. They fell in love. I'm falling in love right now. It's far above the average donut. Get the rice one. That's my pick. 100%. Moving on.
But then, a stall across the way caught my eye. I have never seen anything like this before, so let's put it in our mouths.
This is omuk in Korea, or sometimes we call odeng. And I have really good memory when I was a childhood. I ate this a lot with my friend and my parents after the school and after the hot tub.
Looks like a hot tub.
The red hot tub.
2 skewers for $1. And you get a little cup of broth too. This is like a whole experience. Whoa. It's so perfect. The broth is a little bit sweet, a little spicy, salty, peppery, and the fish cake has a great texture too. It's like a texture of like tofu skin, but a little bit more tender. This is like the filet mignon of tofu skin, but obviously fish cake. This is phenomenal. One of my favorite bites so far. And it's also very satisfying. I'm feeling full already. And for $1, you get 2. I'm eating 20 of these. I'm gonna get in the whole hot tub.
Now, just before we were about to head off to our next spot, Kim pointed out something that he felt was very important.
I want to introduce another snack. I don't know if it's called the street food, but we can get the ice americano for the $1.
What? Where?
The mega coffee.
They have a window. That's street food. We're doing it. We're doing the $1 Americano.
Right? I think we can call it the street food.
Yeah, I think this counts. This
Oh,
one?
wow. Oh.
2000. Is 2000 a dollar?
It's a little over.
Oh my God, inflation. I didn't expect that. It was $1.
Inflation is occurring too quickly. Slow down the inflation, please. Exactly. All right, this doesn't count anymore, but at least it'll keep me going.
짠. 짠.
We're back on track to our final bites in Korea, some hefty stuffed croquettes, both less than $1. The kimchi one was fine, but could the red bean be a sleeper?
Sorry, what is your name?
Vic.
Vic.
Or Vic.
Vic, I think you need to try this.
That is very good.
It's actually crazy. The outside is soft and airy. The inside is smooth and almost creamy. And the sweetness in the red bean is perfect. We're getting up there. We're climbing. We're climbing. And for $1, worth it.
An amazing 24 hours in Korea. Kim, we're gonna miss you. But we have another special person waiting for us in Hanoi, Vietnam, and it is Sunny from Best Ever Food Review Show. The vendor he was waiting with was hustling.
Our first stop, we're at Soy Mei, and this is soy. It's a sticky rice dish. A little over $1 if you get the fried egg. So if you don't get the fried egg, it's basically $1 even.
With this dish, soy is the base, and then you could add a number of different toppings.
Pork floss, fried egg, pork patty, boiled peanuts, mung bean paste.
They take the bean and they mash it, they basically compress it, and then for the soy, they're shaving mung bean.
It's more like a mung brick.
Yeah, it's a brick of mung bean.
Cheers. Wow, the rice is so perfectly cooked, it's crazy. It's so perfectly chewy and al dente, and all the toppings go so well with it.
What's unique about this, I guess from an American perspective, is that this is breakfast here. You're gonna find this before noon all over the streets of Hanoi.
It makes sense as a breakfast too. You've got protein, you've got carbohydrates, you've got healthy fats. You're gonna feel good after you eat this bowl of rice. This is phenomenal. I really like this one a lot. There have been certain places that we've gone to where $1 is more of like a little bit of a snack, like in Japan, right? For $1, you get like a stick of meat. But this, I'm gonna be fueled until at least like noon. So the $1 stretches very far in Vietnam so far. Moving on.
We're seeing a common thread here, okay? We were on the way to our next spot, and what do we see? Well, we saw a bunch of other cool things, like spotted fried bananas, which were whole ripe bananas smashed, battered, double fried, served hot. I mean, these were fantastic. 60 cents an order. I mean, ridiculous. But what about banh mi for under $1? Could it actually be good at the low, low price of
80 cents. In America, what, 15, maybe even $20. It has beef jerky in it, it has fried potato, and it has nem.
Nem is fermented pork, and in fact, it's never been cooked, but it kind of ferments and cures, so it won't kill you. The end result is something that is very sweet and sour. I'm curious what you notice as being very different from banh mi in the US, because for me, when I look at the bread, they are very solid, thick, doughy, but here, it's just pure crispiness. It's perfect for holding all these ingredients, and it kind of wraps around the ingredients perfectly.
Yeah, it's also very airy. It's almost like it's just gonna float away.
Cheers.
The Vietnamese really love sweet food.
What's really sweet is this right here. This is the beef jerky. If you try this alone, you'll taste really where that sweetness is coming from.
Oh, wow. It's literally like candied beef jerky. You don't even really taste the beef. It is so almost blindingly sweet.
You could give this out on Halloween in Vietnam, and kids would be very happy.
So that aside though, love the texture of the nem. They're still a little crispy in mine, and they have this great just like bouncy chew. There are many banh mi in Vietnam that are a little over $1. I had one yesterday, and I actually do like this one just slightly more. Even though the sweetness is a bit much for me, the potato does help diffuse that sweetness. Moving on.
Hanoi feels too good to be true, but off in the distance, I smelled something smoky. Could something be on fire? Or could it be delicious charcoal grilled pork?
We got skewers! This is a pork skewer. It's grilled over charcoal beautifully. Nice little charred bits on it. I love their setup. I saw it yesterday and I wanted to try it real bad. Ah!
We can edit around that, I believe.
40 cents a skewer, so you can have 2 for 80. It's kind of a deal. You can also have this in a banh mi bread for about $1, which is pretty badass. Cheers.
Oh, that's good.
I love that.
Anytime you're in Hanoi, follow the smoke. Something good is gonna be at that smoke. People all over the streets here, they're grilling up, they're using charcoal, they're making meat. And on top, you might notice inside the flavors, there's whole spices and there's sugar and fish sauce inside. So it makes it super umami and a little bit sweet. It's kind of a theme throughout the day, whether it's something for dessert or not. They put a lot of sugar into a lot of the different meats here in Vietnam.
The sugar grants it a little extra char because the sugar generally heats up much more quickly, it caramelizes, and then it burns a little bit. And a lot of people, they think, oh, well, burnt food is not good. No, no, no. That nice char, that burnt sugar is helping carry over some of that smoke from the charcoal into this meat. A delicious pork skewer. You can eat many of them, have them in a banh mi, many options. On to the next item.
Vietnam's dollar street food hit every box, from breakfast to on-the-go skewers to sandwiches, but can they hit it with dessert? Apparently these little fried bean donuts are so popular and cheap, just 20 cents each. Many vendors are copying the OG inventors, even setting up in front of the original shop. You know, there's a certain level of disrespect I respect. This is almost too much disrespect. That said, we went to the OGs. It was the perfect final bite in Vietnam.
That rounds it out. Sunny, thank you so much. Wouldn't have been able to do this without you. We love you. Thank you, Vietnam. We're moving on.
I wish I had more time in Vietnam, but I'm even more excited to see what the final 3 countries have in store. So we're moving on to Malaysia, home to one of the most unique food cultures in the world. It almost feels like multiple countries mixed into one. So our guy Jarvis from Best Food Malaysia started us off with a dish that looks so simple. I was shocked to look up and see a Michelin Bib Gourmand sign. The chefs pour a lightly sweetened batter made of rice flour, egg, coconut milk into a clay pot over charcoal. They're essentially just moving these around at an absurd pace so that they all cook evenly and come out on time. It checks our price point, but does it pass the taste test?
Oh my God. I mean, it's like the most tender crepe pancake texture, so fluffy, so tender. It melts in your mouth and the outside edges are like a lacy, crispy crust. I mean, it's like the filet mignon of a thin pancake in a way. It's slightly sweet, super balanced, a little bit of saltiness in there too. What I love about it is this slight fragrant, just coconutty flavor. This is great.
We also tried an egg version, also under $1.
This is like a perfect little breakfast taco. Oh,
It's dripping.
that's a good sign. This is nice, it's more substantial. How is that even possible? We could be on a roof and there would be a moped flying by. This one is nice if you want to have like a heartier breakfast, but both are excellent, absolutely incredible. Moving on.
Flashback to shaved ice on the beach in India. Can this icy Malaysian treat with coconut milk and noodles actually compete? Shockingly, pretty good. Although I know what locals might say, oh, you gotta have the vermicelli. I was not a huge fan of the texture, but everything else was delicious. Not quite as good as the famous Michelin Bib Gourmand rated Nonya sweets. The best was the glutinous rice dyed blue with pea flours topped with sweetened coconut. I could eat about 50 of these. But I really want to focus on the next dish. I have never seen anything like it.
So this is putu mayong, where it's very local food from our Indian community, where it's rice flour, come with some coconut and then 2 kinds of brown sugar, and then mix up everything. For this one, the rice flour, it's pandan flavor.
That's why it's green. It's incredible. I mean, they make this like rice flour dough that they put into a press and they push it. I even got a chance to try it and it was a lot harder than it looked. I thought, oh, I can do this easy. Well, I tried and I failed, and then I failed again, and then I failed again, and then I got one.
Yeah.
I got one.
I was surprised.
And then they threw it away and started over, but here it is. Cheers. I love that. The aroma's insane. I want a little more. You guys love coconut.
Absolutely.
I get it, me too. Wow, every bite is a little different. It's like hitting every taste receptor. You're getting a little bit of salty from the darker brown sugar, sweetness from the light brown sugar, and then just such a great fragrance from the coconut. And you can kind of choose your own adventure. How many calories is this?
4? 5?
It's like one of those things that tastes familiar, but you're not gonna get anything like this anywhere but here.
Before we left, we had to try these 50-cent noodles. They were stir-fried in a massive wok, shockingly amazing flavor for the value. Next up, a city that every time I visit feels like seeing a close friend you haven't seen in a while. Mexico City. Last time I was here, I ate over 40 tacos in 24 hours, and let me tell you something, I didn't have a single bad bite. Talk about not missing, yeah, Mexico City, they don't miss. Now, while $1 street food is a bit different, I'm feeling Mexico City will impress, especially since we're back with Gabby, the greatest food tour guide in the city, but also a close friend of mine. And like magic, the first bite literally came right directly to me, which let's do more of that.
Oh, God, I love Mexico City. It's food everywhere. I can't stop eating. They just keep bringing it to me. Gabby's off grabbing something. I should be clear, it's $1.20 for 3 churros. She's just walking around in this random flower market, just selling churros. Delicioso. Oh my God, dude. This is actually insane. They're so perfectly crisp. The inside is so moist, it's not overcooked. The inside is almost custardy, which is hallmark of a great churro. But also, the seasoning on the dough is proper. They've got sweetness, they've got a little saltiness to amplify the flavor. There's no acrid oil flavors. It melts in your mouth. It's not too chewy, it's sweet. The only thing that would make this better is if they were hot. And honestly, I'm not even missing it. This is crazy. And it's on the go. That's an easy win. On to the next.
Later that night, we grabbed some very classic guisado, more specifically stewed meat tacos.
God damn, he's literally throwing the food in the air and catching with the fucking tortilla. He's like,
These tacos were only 65 cents each, and they're not skimpy, okay? They're filled to the brim. Now, the next one was a bit of an accidental find. The biggest pastries I've ever seen in my life for only 92 cents each. And listen, a lot of people don't know this, but Mexico's bread and pastry game is on another level.
It's the size of my face.
They were all tasty, but they weren't my favorite of the trip. But a nice little sweet treat. But let's talk about the stars of the show. First, a Mexico City classic, Al Pastor tacos. Only Gabby could find one worth eating that's this cheap.
16 pesos per taco, a very classic pastor, and enough meat. Like the amount of meat is amazing for 16 pesos.
it's the insane value. Tortillas this thick, meat mountain above that. Should we just go in? God,
It's amazing taco.
you're really hitting it with the bangers today. It's perfectly seasoned, beautifully fatty. I hate when you get an al pastor and it's dry. This is not. It's unbelievably moist. It's flavorful throughout. It's seasoned perfectly with salt, very, very flavorful. And that fresh pineapple is perfectly ripe, perfectly sweet, great texture. I could easily eat 100 of these, no problem. And guess what? It'd be $100. I mean, that's a good deal. This is a beautiful example of $1 street food. Moving on. We're at La Rosa de Oro, the Golden Rose.
So this is a very classic taco place. Was born in 1957, and it's very deep into the Guerrero neighborhood, which is a very old working class. We're here because of my friend George. He's a food storyteller of Mexico City. We just wanted you to have very classic suadero with one of the most spicy salsas in the city.
They look beautiful, they're small, but yet they're full of meat, which I love. Everywhere we've gone, they're very generous about the meat, even if it's sub $1 and it's spicy.
It's spicy.
I can see why it's been standing so long, since 1957. I mean, it is absolutely perfect. It's got the perfect mix of different kinds of textures. You have fatty, a little tender, a little chewy, it's meaty, it's unctuous. One of the most flavorful, meaty tacos we've had today. Absolutely no distracting flavors. Just beautiful beefy flavor. Tortillas are like soaked in beef fat, chewy and delicious. It's phenomenal. It's a no-notes taco. You serve this in America, you're gonna get like a Michelin Bib Gourmand.
We saved the best for last. Hundreds of hours of traveling and eating the greatest $1 street food in the world. We're ending things in one of the largest countries in the world, China. I have no idea what's in store, but something in my heart is telling me this might be the best stop we have. So we're starting in Shanghai. Rachel, one of the most well-known and prolific food writers in Shanghai, is taking us for Jianbing, a massive egg and topping-filled crepe, which usually has a crunchy wonton-type shell in there. I've actually had this a few times, and each time it's blown my mind. But will it be even better in China?
This is the most basic version. It totals out to about $1.10, $1.20. Still in the dollar threshold.
Jianbing is typically from the north originally, but you can find jianbing all over China. So they put two kinds of sauces in this one. One is like a tianmianjiang, which is made by like fermented bean paste, and a spicy sauce.
It's not too spicy at all. It's actually a really nice sort of building warmth to it. You had pointed out earlier, they're like, oh, well, they have this more expensive one with all this stuff and all these toppings, and I'm sure it's good, but I think what I love about this is how good it is at being simple, and it delivers on exactly what it should be in the sense of it hits everything you want. You got a multitude of textures, you have incredible flavor. It's kind of all you need to kick off your morning. I love it.
China's starting off strong. Next up, scallion pancakes made in a style I've never seen before, fried and then baked right in this little street cart. It's crispy, flaky, fatty, easily the best scallion pancake I've ever had. But now we leave Shanghai for Chengdu, home of what we call Sichuan style food. And our guide Harry, a local food writer, is starting us off with breakfast, but not just any breakfast, a Sichuan peppercorn laced breakfast called guo kui.
We have two different ones, right? This one is the baked version, just baked. What's inside of it? A simple brown sugar filling. The second version, they stuff it with pork or beef, they roll it up super, super tight, roll it out, and then they pan fry it, shallow fry it till crispy, and then finish it in an oven underneath.
Yeah, correct.
Which one should we start with? Maybe the sweet one?
The pork one, because you must savor the crunch.
That is unbelievable. I'm tasting fresh peppercorn. That's the first flavor you get. It's almost like citrusy, lemony, and then you taste that flavorful, meaty pork.
That's the mark of the flavor. If you cannot taste very fresh peppercorn, it means it's no good.
But what I love about the inside is like more tender than a croissant, yet it has the layers of a croissant. The outside is like super crispy, crunchy, almost like a really, really thin cracker. And then on the inside, it like melts in your mouth. It's fragrant. It is kind of better than the scallion pancake we had, if I'm being flat out honest. Should we jump to the brown sugar? Oh my God, completely different. This one's more like a bread. The density of this is almost like the texture of like a steamed bun. But the brown sugar itself, it's not like any normal brown sugar that you might be used to. The brown sugar isn't just crunchy granules, it's been liquefied in the baking process. So it's like literally flowing throughout this. So as you take a bite, you have a liquid state, essentially brown sugar syrup. This is like very molassesy, very rich, very dark, super flavorful. It almost has like a little bit of an umami from it. Unbelievable, one of my favorite bites on the trip so far. On to the next. So we're walking down the street to our next location. We found this. Typically with a buffet, you pay one fee and then you eat as much as you can until you leave. This buffet, your entry level fee, $2. Two. I wish that fit our $1 rule because we would beat out every other place. Anyway, pretty incredible. That just goes to show how far the dollar stretches here in Chengdu, China. On to the next.
But hang on, I did find out that if you are under the age of 4, like my son, or over the age of 85, this buffet is half price. So it does become all you can eat for $1. That really boggles my mind. I can't think of anywhere on earth that has this kind of value. Certainly not back home for me. Now our final stop is unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't just mean the food, I mean the situation, the environment, how we found the food. This isn't a restaurant. This isn't something you're gonna find on Yelp. This is a random security guard outside of a normal old apartment complex, making some of the greatest noodle and dumpling dishes I've ever had. And this is probably only one example of maybe hundreds or thousands across the country of China. It blows my mind. We started with dumplings, rich, crisp, seasoned perfectly. Next up, chao shu, similar to the dumplings, but much lighter, floating in a super fragrant, spicy Sichuan peppercorn scented broth. And finally, the beef noodles. Unbelievably tender, fatty beef. Again, perfectly seasoned, a little spicy, and just unbelievably fragrant. I understand that this item is just slightly over $1, but the story of this place blew my mind. This place is a perfect example of what this video is all about. Sometimes the greatest food in the world is in the most unexpected places.
So I want to give a little peer behind the curtain for who made this possible. I want to say thank you to Eyal, travel expert, legend. He was the one who guided us around the world to find these places in random remote parts of Asia. This is not an easy task.
I appreciate it, man. It was such a wonderful experience, and I encourage you to do the same as much as you can. Respect the people that host you when you travel, and you're gonna learn and experience amazing, amazing things.
So he does this type of stuff privately for people, and we were lucky enough to have him help us do this entire thing. He also wants other people to experience this. So if this is something you care about, he's made guides that are similar to what we've done today that you can go and follow, you can go and find if you want to find them. The link's in the description for that.
But I have one last thing to say. We flew around the entire circumference of the Earth to film this one video. I'd be lying if I said this was easy. Having to leave family at a time of need, sleepless nights on the road for weeks on end, rushing and barely making planes, trains, taxis, and yet bringing this trip to a close was not easy. Yes, the food was world class, but this told a much greater story to me. It wasn't the insane value of the food we ate that blew me away, it was the hospitality we received. I had my own nerves and concerns about seeing this many random people I've never met in places I've never been, and they accepted us with open arms. Every single person, whether they were on camera or not, sat down with us, ate with us, and it reminded me that everyone across the world, no matter how different the cultures happen to be, are human beings that are just like us. They work hard, they search to find something delicious to eat, and maybe cook a little bit too. We walked away with something I would call priceless.